iRacing.
You know, it has many different circuits over the years. At one point, it was Sears Point. At one point, it was Infineon Raceway. Now, it is known simply as Sonoma, a circuit which goes up and down and all around and is one of the true driving challenges that we will see. In terms of what these drivers look at in the Skip Barber Race Series, this is a championship that they sit down and say every point is going to matter between now and the end of the season, and we'll see who can stand up on top by the time we head ourselves there. We're soon approaching the final 4 rounds, but this is where we end the middle of the season. My name's Jake Sperry here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Sebastian Holmichael is alongside me for company. Christian Deploy is in the director's chair with a bit of assistance from Daniel Costello, with Dougie Beard, who is on cameras for us for this one. But a circuit that, if you haven't understood the natural affinity to what this circuit brings in American racing, be it IndyCar, be it NASCAR, be it the scene in American sports car in its entirety, this is a track that may be foreign to you. So this is where your GSRC track guide comes into play and tells you all you need to know about this brilliant battling track.
Welcome to Sonoma Raceway. One of California's most famous road courses, it resides just north of San Francisco. It's been host to a wide variety of styles of racing, including sports cars, Indy cars, motorcycles, and even drag racing. But in recent decades, it's become most well known for holding one of NASCAR's rare road course weekends. For most tracks, this cornucopia would be a stretch, but considering the array of 5 different layouts to choose from, it's quite easy for the circuit to be adapted to any series needs. Most of the layouts clock in at around 2 to 2.5 miles in length and always feature an impressive amount of elevation change. This means many of the corners present the driver with a blind entry or apex. Some of these have a very distinct visual look, making them instantly recognizable. Corners such as the chute and the final hairpin feature street course-like walls surrounding the track, while the carousel is both picturesque and challenging. With few long straights, passing is often considered very difficult, but it rarely leaves races with a lack of action. Mistakes can be easy to make, offering opportunities for the brave. And it's not just the track itself which is tough. The pit entry's narrow path requires precise driving for those looking to make up time and leapfrog their competitors during stops. With more than 40 years of racing under its belt, Sonoma has become a staple for West Coast race fans. And what could be better than a glass of vino on a sunny hillside while the sound of engines echo around you?
Very scorched circuit here today at Sonoma with all the grass that's burnt off, but we are getting ourselves set for what is a great track of racing here on the west coast of the United States of America. And Seb, when we look at this track, this is one which is going to be a lot more difficult to overtake here today. The NASCAR long variant we use, and so you're looking around at where can you make a pass. You can make one up into 2. If you're brave, you can try one into 4 and 7, but then also turn 11, Gilligan's Island, as it's colloquially known, is a great place for a pass.
Yes, and of course in the Skippy, the huge draft opportunities brings home every overtake back to the car behind. So this will be a very, very tricky one. Also in the first few laps, the cold tires will take a great place in the driving style of the drivers we have here today. And so we are getting into the race in beautiful California, I would say.
We are getting into the race with some wonderful action to come along, and it is just the 13 laps that we will have today around this circuit. So let's put ourselves into perspective and say what we've got to deal with. Open setups available for everyone, Seb. 1 spare car to play with, but of course a standing start and disqualification at 17 instant points. It is very easy to pick up 1 instant here and 1 instant there due to the nature of this track having many off-camber corners.
Yes, of course, and the incidents you take with the dirt on the wheels will carry you into the next corner with very difficult braking then, and you will slow down and maybe have to give a position up.
So we might see a few drivers running into troubles. I've just seen a driver loop it around on the outlap trying to get some heat into the tyres, which is very surprising to see. But let's talk the championship now, because it's a very interesting play. 2 drop rounds are available to them. 35 points for a race win. Benny Simonson clear by 13 out there at the moment. Augusto Lovisolo, after winning last time out, was only able to bring the gap down by 3 championship points. Sam Devontier is not here today. He is 3rd currently, and so we'll use his 2nd drop round today, with Jose Luis Maya sat there in 4th place with 3 rounds that he scored 0 points at. So he's going to be looking to try and just attack late on. Neil Gardner with him in 5th. It's then Daniel Atuga and Dennis Johansson 6th and 7th, with Enzo Cantor 8th. Brian Kelly finds himself 9th, tied on points with Yannick Morale in 10th. So, as we get ourselves set, we will head our way down into qualifying, where the 8 minutes that they have to set a qualifying time and the 2 qualifying lap times available are there. 13 drivers here today at Sonoma. It's lucky for some here, Seb, but what's also worth keeping in mind is that no driver has any less than 3,000 iRating.
Yeah, and it is the SOF race, of course, of the week. The best of the best. We have seen the championship standings, how close it gets from 7 to 10, but still everyone is able to catch up to the podium runners. And yeah, maybe Adam here tonight will get in some great points after a good qualifying. But as you can see, it's tricky to get the Skippy to stay on the asphalt.
Well, you can see Benny here, who's desperate for some tyre temp right now on his lap. So I think he's abandoned that first lap attempt completely as he's trying to get as much feel in the car as he possibly can, coming down through the long carousel corner of turn number 5, looking over then towards turn 7. Out here on track, as the first times will soon be coming in on the board. I believe right now Jesus Cabal will be one of the first, and so too will Jose Luis Maya set a time, but does not as he crosses the line. So we'll have one more to go to try and go and get that time working. Brian Kelly on a 46.4 then is the benchmark setter. And I'm looking at the weather conditions here today, and I would say we are in ideal racing conditions for the temperatures that we have got at this stage. So I turn around, I look at it, 37 degrees Celsius, maybe a little bit on the hot side, but there's certainly drivers who can make something happen. Hermann goes second, well now third, because Seb Schultz, who's already got a pole this season, now puts himself on the top by nearly 3/10.
Yeah, great conditions and no fog in this race, so kudos to iRacing. We had some very, very foggy races in the last couple of weeks. And yeah, I saw a yellow and blue car with a number 1 on it, so I assumed it is Adam, but of course it's Bernie, so sorry for that. Yeah, and it's great to see Sepp here again, already claiming the pole at this stage with 3/10 ahead of Brian Kelly.
And Brian Kelly here, who's on that second lap and charging. We're on board with Augusto Lovisolo, looking to try and get all the turn into the car here at turn 7. Big curb on the right, you don't want to attack it too much. And then on the exit, these S's sections are just a straight line. You've got to make sure you're carrying as little rotation in the car as possible. Keep the car as narrow as you can. This long right-hander up and over the top of the crest. Attack off of the exit and then descend away towards turn number 10. Out on track, this fast right-hander where you're just trying to pin the car down. Look at the wheelwork that Lovisolo's having to do to keep the car in the right direction. Then to Gilligan's Island, which is the inside. Mayer goes quickest by 0.4 of a second, then with a 45.7. But Augusto Lovisolo, who's looking to go back-to-back here today as Hermann goes second. Here comes Lovisolo to the line, and it's a 45.5, pole by 2/10.
Wow, what a lap to put in here. You always have just 2 laps and you don't get the Skippy tires fully into the zone where you want to have them. So this is a very, very great time by all of the podium runners at the moment.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Benny Simonson could, though, decide to go and make a change. Schultz has now gone second. So can Benny find more? Yes! 45.498. He steals it by 0.02 of a second. Benny Simonson, at the very, very last minute, gets the job done and gets it done with a brilliant qualifying lap time. You couldn't have asked for anything better than that. But now you start to turn around and say, well, who can improve here? Yannick Morel can only manage P9 coming across the line, and it leaves just Nathan Verney in the final minutes to try and find an improvement on nothing, 48.2 to move off at the bottom.
And you can see how close it is. It's not even a tenth between some of these cars. And yeah, it will be a great battle all over the field. Everyone will have competition here in the Skippy, and that's what it's all about.
147.5 set by Nathan Verney. The field done then with their qualifying lap. So the grid will now stack up here as follows at Sonoma, and it is car number 1, Benny Simonson, who is on the pole position. He has not finished outside of the top 2 all season long. Augusto Lovisolo is alongside him for company, his nearest rival in the championship. Seb Schultz will go from 3rd with Jose Luis Mayer in 4th position, who has got some wonderful results in his back pocket this season, with Steph Hermann starting 5th, along with Brian Kelly in 6th position. It's then Neil Gardner and Peter Suapanki on row 4, as Yannick Morel will go from 9th, and Berto Otero will line up in 10th. Just the 3 cars behind that to go, with Jesus Cabal in 11th, Nathan Verney, who will go from 12th, and Anthony Pang, making his first start of the season, will go from 13th on the grid. It's a medium run up to turn 2, the first braking zone here, Sebastian, but I look around at it, it really does favour those drivers who are on the inside.
Yes, of course. And you can position your car in that way on the left-hand side that you can open up the hill, the next corner, so you're in the best position possible. And yeah, the cars on the inside in turn 2 will struggle to hold their line, so there is potential crash stuffy stuff happening maybe.
Yes, potential crashy stuffy stuff, I believe, is an official term out there
It
for
is.
some amazing.
It is.
It is very official in terms of what happens when you get incidents out on track. The potential crashy stuffy stuff, I'm sure we might see over the course of racing action. But as these drivers look to grid, they have 2 minutes to do so, or they can choose to start from pit lane if they believe that's safer. Onto the grid goes Neil Gardner, the only driver who has raced every round so far this season. 13 cars on, 13 cars ready. Sonoma for 13 laps of racing action is underway, and it's a good start off the front by Benny Simonson as the front four all pull into line and look to try and crest the rise for the first time up towards turn number 2. Likes of Neil Gardner trying to find angles to attack then in the middle as they crest up here, the off-camber turn 2, and they look to go up to 3 and 3A now. This fantastic left-right chicane section, a nice easy start for all competitors.
It worked out like a charm, but it's fair racing usually in the skippies. But what a visual, of course. Even with 13 cars, it's such a great car, such great fun. And I can just say everyone who watches join into the skippy racing action.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic racing that we see here. And of course, we find ourselves not too far out from San Pablo Bay and of course the city of San Francisco, which is right there with Golden Gate Bridge, just outside of Sacramento as well. We're pretty much in betwixt both of them. Here comes a look around the outside then from Mayers through now on Seb Schultz, gaining that place. So he's done that down the inside at turn 7, taking the run up the drag strip, and then getting brave on the brakes. Wonderfully done to make that pass. Now it's time to gain the positions back, because you've got those two in front of Lovisolo and Simonson, who are there 1 and 2, and Lovisolo pretty much hugging the tailpipe.
Yeah, you need to have some wiggle room here. Now for the final braking zone. And there's some too wide going on in the back, but no crashy.
Yep, no crash there. So on the exit, it's now side by side, and here comes Herman to make the pass on Seb Schultz, who's got nothing really to fight with. Oh, very close to the wall there on the outside, and that will now open up an opportunity here with Brian Kelly and Neil Gardner trying to put themselves in play. 1 lap, score complete, and your top 3 trying to break away early on here at Sonoma. The charge is going to be important here from this middle group, and Brian Kelly now sitting himself then in position number 6, looking to get up to P5, attacking off of 3B, and now down the hill over in towards turn number 4, and you're seeing a small lunges of looks there in that second group, which is coalescing nicely.
So it was a very, it was a nice overtake, a decent overtake by Meller, but it was very important to make that pass on Herman. So now he's in a good position to maybe even attack for the lead.
And I think he might just do, because he's getting a great run. And look at how they fan. They are going to be 3 wide as they head to turn 7. Lovisolo in the middle, Simonson up on top. Mayer trying to get cheeky as around the outside. Lovisolo understeers here, and now they're going to have to battle through turns 8 and 9 here. The S's right now. This is the view on the top right from Benny Simonson, and look at how little room they give each other. Mayer's through, but here comes the up and under from Lovisolo. It brings Herman back into the group with Schultz and Kelly and Gardner and Morale and Suapaki and Otero, who are all there. But back at turn 10, there goes the move, chop of the nose. Then Herman nowhere to go.
Super brave stuff here. And we are just 2 laps in of our 13 laps of furious racing.
And we just sit and know how incredibly aggressive you've got to be out here. You can't afford to lose the draft, as now Brian Kelly sneaks down the inside. Benny with the fastest lap of the race, taken away by Steph Herman. But there is Schultz losing out. Kelly now up into the top 5, and now trying to really find a launch pad forward to gain some time, to gain some places, and to move up over the course of racing. Brian Kelly, by the way, has a best result at Belle Isle of 4th place, looking to try and match that here today in California.
What a view here by Lovisolo, who is our camera child right now. And every move, every little mistake here, like from Benny, will maybe cost a place. And if you don't attack, you get snatched up from behind.
Well, turn 6 is so easy to slide about there. If you overcook the downhill braking zone by 5 meters, you're going 10 meters on, and then the defense now starts to come in. Mayer there is sitting back and hoping to get into play. Hairman has nowhere to go, and now Mayer will attack here through the SS section, but it's Benny Simonson who has to lead the room and just about manages it and holds himself in the middle and really struggling to wheel through the middle, and this is allowing Lovasolo a chance to escape.
5/10 can be very, very crucial. Of course, there's the huge draft still going, and Benny saves it.
That could have been disastrous. Big lock up behind there from Seb Schultz, who lunges down the inside, missing the braking point a little bit there. Had to get very heavy on the brakes and was able to just keep it out of trouble. Mayer trying to go around the outside, and what can Jose Luis Mayer, the mayor of Quicksville, find here as he moves up through turn 1 to turn 2. Again, nothing there. Lovasolo trying to use this platform to break away. Now 8/10 of a second, and the group here, I look at Mayer, he can't afford to be so aggressive that he is right now because he's compromising the entire train.
And Lovasolo will watch the mirror and will hope for Mayer to attack Simonson. So yeah, this is a really, really crucial point right now for maybe a race win for Lovasolo.
It's a 10-car train out the front. I look at those at the back, like Berto Otero, Peter Suapanki, Yannick Morale, Neil Gardner, who aren't really showing anything of wanting to move forward. They're just waiting for a big implosion up at the front of the field, and they want to pick up the scraps. That's going to be the way that they score their points here today, as again Hairman looks to go around the outside. There are looks around here as Gardner has to fend off Yannick Morale as well, and manages so, but Steph Hairman, first start for him this season that we've seen. Someone that you have a good understanding of the way that he drives Seb in the German Skippy Leagues out there. So what makes Steph Hairman a very, very talented driver?
Yeah, well, he doesn't make mistakes, and that's the first crucial point. Of course, he always tries to get on another line to have the advantage in the next corner, so he's planning ahead, planning strategically, and yeah, he doesn't make mistakes very often.
So a driver who very much keeps himself on the straight and narrow and doesn't move out too much to get wrong place, wrong time. That will be something that the drivers around will keep a focus of and know that they've got to deal with a character like that. Benny Simonson now pulling that gap back to 0.4 of a second. A lap of truce has certainly helped things out. And remember, Benny has not finished off for the top 2 this season so far. He's got 2 victories at Alton Park and Okayama, 3 second-place finishes, Road Atlanta, VIR, and Snetterton, and 2 non-starts. As wide off the corner then at 3B goes Yannick Morale. And now there starts to be a little bit of a splinter here at Neil Gardner. So for the moment, is the top 6 who are able to keep the pace. On board with Mayer down the hill here at turn 6. You can see the cars trying to really work hard to hold on to the level of grip that's needed on those chunky 4 tyres that look like 4 Oreos.
Yeah, now the tires are getting better and better, lap by lap. The cars will go faster and faster and be more predictable in the corners. But you're right. These turns are tricky every time. And as you explained it in turn 6, this is the most point of failure which you can have. And most means 1 or 2 meters with these drivers here at the wheel.
Yeah, and they can't afford to find too many problems out there. So now it's going to be where everybody gets themselves set up and ready. Mayer happy in 3rd position, but for right now, as they're heading towards lap 6 and 13, they'll soon be hitting halfway in this race. They've got to be cautious. And again, Mayer right up to the rear of Benny Simonson, who had a lot of rotation through the corner, had to half catch the slide out there. And Benny, I think, gets on the radio and says, look, I didn't mean to have that sort of slide out there at the moment. I didn't mean to have that contact. Lovasolo's having a great run at the moment. Hairman now the fastest lap. And look at the way they go. Quicker and quicker and quicker out there in this race. But none of them are reaching that breaking point just yet. It's very much a case of they're building into a race like this right now. And
we will see the 44 lap time coming down. maybe even in this lap already. And yeah, Steff is planning. He's looking ahead, not attacking too eagerly, waiting that somebody makes a mistake in front, and yeah, catches the opportunity.
Oh, there's almost troubles in the back for Yannick Moral. There's a spinner. There's a spinner in the back. It's Berto Otero who's in the grass coming through turn 6, and that's going to cost him. He saw the smoke in front of him out there and ran into troubles. Here comes Hairman now round the outside of turn 7, sliding through the corner in the iRacing car, but ultimately unable to get that sorted, so has to wait a little bit more to find that next pace and that next place to go and make those passes. But it is showing that there is intent, and a lot of drivers want to make the passes, but the intent to show that you want it is often something of a hidden skill that a lot of drivers take.
A little bit of mind games and showing him, if you make the wrong move, I'm there to catch you. And of course, he's trying it always around the outside, and maybe would like to try to get to the inside then. But yeah, around the outside it won't work, but maybe it's a little bit of trickery.
Well, Super Lopez finds himself with a big slide going through the corner. And I'll tell you what's striking about that slow-mo, just how much camber's being run.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you put the Skippy down as far as you can. And yeah, take the curbs with caution, mostly.
Run the tyres on a knife edge to try and get a nice element of grip, but of course the more that you run the camber, the more likely you're going to see that car snap, and wide off the exit there goes in front of Peter Suapanki here. Yannick Moral, as again Herman looks the closest to trying to make a pass. They're keeping Lovisolo at a leash here of half a second. I think they can close that down at any point they want as they now hit the rise of the drag strip, which is normally the end of this drag strip here, which runs NHRA events on the brakes, and still there's no real sense that there's going to be much transit here in this front group for the moment. But I reckon when we get to the point here of about 3 laps to go, I reckon that's when we're going to see all the pleasantries and the handing out of business cards stop, and that's when the gloves come on.
Yeah, or that's absolutely correct. And maybe it will be a bare knuckle fight. So it is for the win between the, I would say, even the first 5, and the tactical stuff will end very, very soon.
Well, it's going to be about who is going to be up there. Remember, the championship gap at the moment sits at 13. If Lovisolo were to finish where he is right now, the gap would come down to 10 points. And if he could manage this for first ahead of Simonson second, between now and the end of the season, he'd win the championship by just 2 championship points. Mayer looking to attack over turn number 2. And now as we look from the roll hoop cam over towards the left and right of turns 3 and 3A out on circuit, Mayer up over the top. This very difficult corner where the curb on the exit of 3A pretty much jumps back out at you, and these drivers now back over the top of each other for the first time in about half a race here. Augusto Lovisolo, the Italian stallion, is going to have to look in his mirrors.
Yeah, right, because also Herman did take the 1:44.572 lap time, so he's taking very much advantage of the draft and is doing the fastest lap right now.
Yeah, so that puts him in the range where he can go for it. Simonson half attacking, half defending then, going into 7. And again, look at this, it opens the door up. Herman catches a bit of curb and can't quite get there. Jose Luis Mayer, by being aggressive, leaves himself vulnerable there at turn 7, and Herman's trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and that's what I meant with he's planning ahead. He waited for them battling to get to the inside there. It didn't work out right now, but there are, 6 laps to go to prove it.
Well, now where can you find that pace? Lovisolo has a bit of a slide, and Benny Simonson pulls out to the right-hand side. Will he lunge down the inside here at Gilligan's Island, turn 11? Answer to that is yes, but Lovisolo takes the outside track and doesn't have to worry on the exit, so he's got the launch that he needs right now, and it will be 5 laps to go. Over the line here at Sonoma, Benny is posturing like he wants to go to the race lead, thinking about hanging out to the outside. Mayer might take advantage, try and run around around the outside, try and get the move. He can't turn in the way he wants to, and keep an eye on Brian Kelly and Seb Schultz, who have been very quiet on the back of this group, waiting for these fast four to get themselves known and acquainted.
And he was scared enough to leave a car with open on the inside in the last corner. So he saw Simonson coming. And yeah, that's always part of the deal, driving the Skippy. If you're on the edge of performance in these cars with these high SOF races, it's every 10th that count.
It's every fraction that will matter as Mayer again gets a great launch out to turn 6, up to turn 7, looking for a way around the outside. Again, getting stuck on that outside hairman this time, gets a lot closer, but again, it's going to be Jose Luis Mayer picking up drive off the exit of 7. That double apex right-hand hairpin is proving to be a very sore sticking point for how you confirm the move.
Yeah, right. And that's always the part of the game here at Sonoma at this exact spot, of course. And Hermann lost a little bit of 3 car length there. Of course, he will catch up again. And there we have a battle for P2.
So Mayer getting a good run out of 10 this time. Still can't find the angle at 11. We do say this. Passes at Sonoma are not gifted, but earned.
Yeah, right. And that was the try of Hermann to, earn.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Jose Luis Mayer trying to go through a gap that very nearly didn't exist. You could have fit Jose Luis Mayer through a postage stamp trying to get this, and he's still got a nose. Hits a 3A and 3B, but what's it going to cost in terms of time? Over the top of the hill. Simonson still holds his place. Here comes Hermann. This is what he's been waiting for. Down the inside, searching 1 second. Now goes the gap, and suddenly this race is Lovis Solos to run away with, as now here comes Hermann, who'll have to go around the outside of 6.
Yeah, and Hermann has the guns drawn to rob the bank here and not earn it.
Well, he'll try and steal a place and he can't quite get there. Unfortunately, good alarm system. Brian Kelly now jumps up onto the scene and looks around, thinks, you know what, I'm happy just to stay in line as they start pushing through here around the right-hand bend at turn 7, leading to turns 8 and 9. Out on track, but now look at the gap. 1.3 seconds out there, and Benny under the cosh at this moment. This is where you start feeling the championship pressure that's there, and Benny's going to go wide here at turn number 8. This is going to open it up. Mayer with a big power move to the outside will now have to go the long way around turn number 10 to get it done. And you know what? He's got clearance right now, but not to Gilligan's Island. Where does Hermann go in all of this? Still side by side. Benny throws it up the inside on the tightest of tight ropes. He gets it back.
You talked about earning, and that was a championship move.
Wow. 3 laps to go. Mayer's still not giving this up. They interlock wheels through turn 1. Oh, this is absolutely frantic stuff between them. Hip check given. There goes the place. Mayer drops one. Hermann to 3rd.
Yes, Hermann takes it. He waited for it so long, not getting into trouble, getting his front wing damage or whatever. And now he's there, and maybe even he can take Simonson's place.
Well, he'd love 2nd place, and Lovasolo would love to see Hermann in 2nd position. Out there at the moment, this is a very, very tough race that we're seeing at the moment, where every position is being hard fought for at the moment. And for Steph Hermann, it's a case for the Asher Racing car that Benny Simonson here is going to be in a place where he really has to be on his level. Best defending, just about manages to defend it then through turn 7, but now it's a case of when is the patience play, and when do you go from those guaranteed moves to the 50%, the 30%, even the 20% move.
And we have seen that Benny made 1 or 2 mistakes, and he's feeling the pressure of the cars behind.
He knows how important it is to keep this level with Augusto Lovasolo in the championship. He lost the last round, and it looks like it's going to be back-to-back as it goes. Here goes Herman to the outside. Mayer decides he wants to throw it down the inside here and take advantage of Herman searching for that outside line, and now he can't quite get the move. But again, he's going to cut up underneath here, potentially, is Mayer. But look at the draft that comes along from Benny. That's going to be enough then for Steph Herman just to cover that position. Herman looking to pivot over to the inside, decides to stay in line here with a couple of popsicle sticks thrown in the air.
And that's what the Herman wanted. He wanted the draft to cover up Mayer again. And yeah, these are the suspensions working here. Hard times for these drivers over the curbs and the crests.
Well, I wouldn't blame you for saying it's a little bit dusty out there here today at Sonoma, but at least for the moment, Benny Simonson is doing just what he needs to. Oh, he has to have a double take through the corner, and Herman grabs the grass on the inside, which causes a bit more rotation than he requires. And so on the exit, neither of them getting the most perfect of corners, and we talk about fractions here. It's now going to be, again, Benny trying to find that defense. Herman is locked on the outside, and so Mayer's got himself a run then to try and go to the inside. They're going to duel off the exit. Herman gets drive.
Yeah, he did the same trick from the playbook of Mayer right there and keeps on in third position. So yeah, he even learned from his competitors what to do at the exact moment when these situations happen.
Well, every driver is sat down and thinking, where do I gain a little bit more? Simonson again goes to the defense. They've completely thrown away it. Contact there. Mayer gets into the back of Simonson. Herman opens out the steering to avoid and drops one position, nearly two. Brian Kelly now trying to bring himself in.
And he will fight back. Herman now on the inside of Mayer and back in a little bit of draft of Simonson. But that was, of course, Herman who did open up the steering, you said it, to prevent any big collision for these 5 cars.
It's what we call race prevention, and he's through back into third position. The last lap has started here, and crucially, he picked up the run through turn 1, got himself back into the place he needed to, and now looks to attack. We'll take a replay on the top right. You can see Mayer just threw it into the corner, and he did so well just to keep it pointed straight. Anything less than that, and that was going to be a multi-car pile-up. Mayer sliding, Kelly sliding as they head through turn number 6, searching for any level of grip that's there. Seb Schultz is on the back of this one still and trying to pick up with all of what these drivers are trying to do. Herman again trying to look for that angle to try and make that move, and he's still got nothing there to go through. At turn number 7, he's tried every time around the outside. It's simply not worked. Only Gilligan's Island is the final place to get the move, so these S's become paramount. You can see all the RVs up on the top, and these cars trying to throw everything they can at the woodworks, hoping that something's going to stick. Late in this race, they've had to fight amongst each other because one car has been able to get clear as on around. Benny's going to get turned by Steph Herman, and that's going to bring Schultz to turn around as well. Now Mayer's going to look for the inside, and it's going to steal second position away, but no dramas at the front for Augusto Lovisolo, because the Italian stallion is romping away today and gets back-to-back wins here at Sonoma.
Mayer in P2 and Herman with a broken front wing in P3. Gardner takes Kelly's in P4 and Gardner in P5. So, of course, for Simonson, huge drama. I think he did have a little bit of a slide, and then the contact happened. But of course, no unfair thing.
8th place for Benny Simonson. That's 23 championship points. They leave Sonoma dead level in the championship.
Oh, what a race. Oof, I'm shaking.
Wow. And everybody is looking around and saying, what has just happened there? Look as they go through. There's the contact through Simonson on Herman. And there you start thinking about, well, what do people see? It's a wild run. Herman's apologetic. Mayer's saying it was deserved. But ultimately, that is a very, very tough race here from rivals who look around and say, wow, this is the level that they race here in the Skip Barber race series. Augusto Lovisolo, 22 minutes, 56 seconds. He walked away from this one today. Everyone was too busy fighting behind. He picks up the win, and he wins by 3.2 over Jose Luis Meyer, who will take himself another podium finish with Steph Herrmann, who rounds out your top 3 overall. It's then Brian Kelly, who finishes off in 4th ahead of Neil Gardner, with Yannick Morale in 6th position and Peter Suapanki there in 7th. Final lap contact for Benny Simonson with Steph Herrmann. That puts him down to 8th. The championship is tied as we look towards the next round of the season, which will be over at Summit Point. Seb Schultz will be 9th, and Berto Otero rounds out the top 10 in this field. Just 3 cars behind that who dropped off early from the pace: Jesus Cabal, Nathan Verney, and Anthony Pang. No retirees from racing action here today, but a lot of drivers looking around at each other, being a little bit red-faced, some emotions running high at the end of all of this. It is simply put a crazy, crazy season. Every round, Seb, this season has been like this.
I say it again and again and again, only Skippy Racing is the real racing, and we saw that tonight. Even with 13 cars, it doesn't matter. It's the best of the best. It's the perfect car to learn all and everything about sim racing. And if you put it to the max, it's even more fun than you can ever possibly imagine.
Oh, it absolutely is. And when you consider that in 7 days' time, Seb, we go to a circuit that every sim racer in the world knows like the back of their hand, Summit Point Raceway, that is going to be one where everyone is going to be on the absolute limit trying to find those passes into turn 1.
Yes, Summit Point is one of the best opportunities again to get into the Skippy, so just join in on this free track Summit Point, buy the Skippy and be part of the Skippy community.
Well, the only place you can catch that, of course, is with us on the Global SimRacing Channel, May 18th. It will be at 9:15 UTC to make sure all of that action comes into play. We want to give a massive thanks to the team who's brought this show to you here, from Sebastian Harmichael, from Christian Deploy, Daniel Costello, and from Dougie Beard. This has been a Genesis Extreme production, but there is still great racing that comes along with us on the Global Sim Racing Channel, because the Classic Lotus Grand Prix Series later today is heading to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. That will be important then in terms of that second half of the season. Grand Prix Legend will be heading to the legendary Laguna Seca over, of course, on the 17th, as long as IMSA Vintage Series will also go to a classic track as well. They'll be battling at Spa for racing action there, so you do not want to miss any of that. Mark it in your calendar if you haven't had the chance to already. But it comes down to the finest margins when you get down to racing, and for Benny Simonson, that's the first hiccup we've seen out of him from all of the racing that we've got. Lovisolo's second straight victory will now put the championship tied on points. And so next up, you say, what is next? And the answer is Summit Point, a circuit which is all about positioning, all about placement, all about the skills that make you a great racing driver. We'll see you in 7 days' time when the final third of the season starts to ramp up, and boy, are we in for a treat.